for first, or for one win between Thunderface, Jafem, and Laseki. And here we go. Intro stage. Hold right and mash. Ooh, Jafem almost fell off into that first gap. Caught himself. And we're coming up on the first set of B-Blader. They want, between the two B-Bladers, they want to take a combination of damage that's between 13 and 15, so they can get down to 3 HP or less for the end of the stage. Laseki looks like he got a couple of B-bonks. He had a health drop there, which will help him take 2 more B-bonks from this second B. So I think Laseki got 2 double passes, but had an HP drop to guarantee that he survived. And Jafem's gonna have the opportunity to do task cars if he wants, but he will have to take another damage boost off one of these cars here at the end. Now they want to avoid HP drops. If Laseki picked up a HP drop and got above 3 HP, then he had to take another damage boost somewhere. Ooh, Jafem had to avoid taking a death there. He took a damage off the car, but the second car was right behind him, so he had to stop for a minute. Looks like Laseki gets a okay ship. He has to wait a little bit. Jafem gets a good ship and is right behind. And looks like they both get about the same vial after all that. And as we see, Laseki's playing in English, whereas Jafem's playing on Japanese. That won't matter too much. Well, it did right there because now they're synced up. So Jafem just tied just on Japanese text, and now he's going to pull ahead a little bit because of that as well. Luckily, once we get past the dash boots capsule text, there really isn't much more text in X1. So starting at Penguin, Jafem making use of the charge shot to take down those blocks that robot stands behind. Laseki took a couple of hits there at the start, so he's fallen a little bit further behind. But this is a 3-game race, so anything can happen from here to the end. And he gets a couple of HP drops, so Laseki has full health again. And now that we got our dash boots, now we can go faster. And we're reaching Chill Penguin right now. Jafem's still holding that lead. Ooh, Jafem misses a buster shot there at the start of the Penguin fight. Now that Penguin's blowing the Ice Penguins, you're free to get some quick damage because he can't be knocked out of his attack until he finishes it. But Every now and then you'll see these slides, and you just have to wait. And Jafem gets a pretty good penguin kill right there. And Laseki's not that far behind either. So starting Kuwanger, looks like Jafem has to wait on a turtle there. So does Laseki. Laseki took a couple of hits. And starting on the outside for Jafem, breaking out the ice to take out these ladder gadders. Ooh, and a platform comes out and blocks his way. So here we go, going into the tower. It looks like Laseki's caught up quite a bit now. Due to that unfortunate platform on Jafem's side. But they're both at low health, so they gotta be real careful. Oh, but Laseki gets a great HP boost there at the end. So now I have to see how the Kuwanger dance goes for both our players. Okay, Jafem's got it started. Laseki's just gonna jump around and throw dash lemons and charge shots. So once Kuwanger gets below half health, it's gonna start teleporting, and at that point you just wanna just stay where you are and just shoot charge shots in whichever direction he shows. And there we go. So we're about the same time deficit as we were after Penguin. And now for Chameleon. Now that we got Chameleon's weakness, we can go ahead and get the weakness for Eagle. The only minor nuisance in Chameleon is this cave. Since you don't fight the mini-boss that guards the armor capsule, you have to deal with these random drops of the blocks here. And sometimes they'll just appear right in your way, and there's nothing you can do about it. You just gotta take a hit and move on. But the stage is very straightforward. Looks like Laseki used the boomerang to pick up an extra life. So this fight's very, very basic. Every time Chameleon gets hit with a boomerang, he's just gonna switch to the other direction and jump, and then go for his Iron Tongue attack. But since you could just fire another boomerang the other direction, you just loop him. It's probably the easiest fight in the game. Ooh, Laseki took a bonk there at the end, and X ends up off-center a little bit. he's going to lose a little bit of time to that because X has to walk to the center of the screen before he can teleport out. But that only applies in X1. X will teleport out in place in X2 and X3. Now, Eagle's stage is a little complicated because these platforms that you have to jump from here, where Jafem's coming up on, they spawn in cycles. Ooh, Jafem luckily caught himself there. So these platforms spawn in groups, and they are on a cycle once they spawn. So if you don't have the right setup going in, you have to kind of wait, as Jafem had to do there, and that allows Laseki to kind of catch up a little bit. I don't believe either of them went for any safeties. No sub-tank. So the Eagle fight's a little less annoying since you have his weakness, so it takes less shots to kill. He can still dive if he decides to go up immediately. And he starts diving for Jafem, but Jafem's already got him about halfway dead. And Jafem got one dive. It looks like Laseki's getting some dives. So Laseki's going to lose a little bit of time to the Eagle fight, but it's nothing to really cry about. Oh, Laseki did go for the tank. Okay. I was watching Jafem and noticed that he was in trouble. So, Mammoth is up next for both of our players. They're following the weakness order for a little bit, and they're gonna have a pretty easy time here. Laseki making use of the boomerang to grab the health refill. Since he does have full health when he picks it up, and he has a sub-tank, that energy will go to the sub-tank, and hopefully he won't have to use it, but if he has to, he'll have some backup energy. It might save him from a costly death later. And now they're neck and neck. Jafem is ahead by maybe 10 frames. So Mammoth's room is pretty big, so it's pretty easy for X to be in the middle of the screen the entire time, unless you're on the very edges. And if you shoot the Storm Tornado, and as long as Mammoth doesn't move, you can get 2 hits per tornado. And Jafem is ahead by frames, so we're already halfway through X1, or over halfway, and it's a pretty close race already. Spark Mandrill and Spark Mandriller, which is the better name? Variants of strategies. We got Jafem using the ice, and Laseki's going for the tornado there. Both have their ins and outs. The ice can hit extra hits if you spawn an enemy while the shot is about to go off screen, and then you get extra hits when the ice shatters and rebounds. Laseki going for the Storm Tornado, so you just shoot it. You don't have to worry about any special pixel placements. And Laseki takes down Thunder Slimer first, so he pulls ahead. Jafem trying to take down this Thunder Slimer. Doesn't want to die because the checkpoint's right after this fight, and he gets through. Jafem's probably going to be looking for an HP drop somewhere if he can get one. You don't want to enter the mandrill fight at 6 HP or less. Well, Jafem got a health refill, but did not opt to pick it up. He wants something larger. Oh, but he's got to be careful. He can die very precariously because of those turtle shells. Oh, there was a health, but it dropped in the pit. Okay, but luckily he gets one just before the fight. So that might have bailed him out of a precarious situation, while Laseki is going to go ahead and start looping Mandrill here with the ice. Let's see how Jafem handles this fight. So you hit Mandrill to freeze him, and then you hit him just before he breaks out for an additional hit. Oh, that was a risky play there at the end, but Jafem got away without a problem. That could have backfired easy. So now Laseki has the lead. We'll see how long he can hold on to it. So this is a pretty easy stage. You ride the cart for a bit, then you make your way through the cavern a little bit, and then you ride another cart. Okay, Laseki got his sub-tank full with that health refill. The beauty of having the sound on Laseki is that we can monitor his sub-tank progress. So he has a full sub-tank. And he gets the heart tank just for an additional safety. So Laseki jumping to make sure the birds don't despawn. It looks like he missed time to jump there at the end, but he's fine. And what he does there, he grabs the wall intentionally to stop the momentum that he gets from the minecart. If you were to jump in the air and not hold a direction, you're just going to go into the wall, but you still have the momentum. Jafem does a pretty neat trick. He takes damage from the cart, and it knocks him into the door. That's pretty neat. Looks like Laseki's got a good armadillo. Let's see how Jafem does. Jafem gets a couple of rolls, but no problem. So I think Laseki's got a 15-second lead at the moment. And we're on the last Maverick in X1. So we have 3 mini-bosses. We've got the 2 submarines. And then we have the Uroboros toward the end of the stage. And they have a few weaknesses. Laseki's using Chameleon Sting. Electric Spark also works, and you can also use Rolling Shield. But the Rolling Shield you don't want to overuse because it's also Octo's weakness. Laseki opting to get the health refill that second submarine dropped. Jafem got an easy second submarine because of the searchlight, and he also gets a health refill. And Laseki's already took down the Uroboros, and he's going into the Octo fight. So Laseki already has the rolling shield out, not opting to cut off the tentacles, which is an option here. At the expense of a few seconds, you can guarantee that he doesn't do this attack that Octo's doing, and plus he can't shoot the larger missiles. And there you go. At 2018, Laseki finishes X1. He has to wait 30 seconds before he can begin X2. Ooh, jafem getting a whirlpool there. Gotta be a little cautious on the health. Okay, he's gonna have to wait on this. Set another tornado. Okay, he's through. At 2043, he's through. So now we're to X2. And Laseki is good to go. And jafem is on his way. So the intro in X2, very, very basic. No RNG, just all execution. It's a very short stage. Laseki using the CFO strat. Ooh, but he misses. He shot the last shot a little early, I think, but manages to get the final shot in. I imagine Laseki will take the safety items and wire sponge since he did that for X1. Luckily, Sponge has a heart tank and a sub tank. So it's very, just like playing any percent. So let's see. No, Laseki does not opt for this heart tank. He may get the sub tank though. We'll just have to wait and see. Nope, he doesn't get that either. So I think he feels pretty confident in his X2 to get by without it. jafem, on the other hand, does get the heart tank in Sponge. He may get the sub tank as well. No, he does not get the sub tank. So, wire sponge, just hit him with dash shot, which deal 2 damage, and you want to get him to exactly 10 HP preferably, or close to 10 HP, and then you want to see this attack that Laseki's getting from Sponge is the ceiling grab, and then he'll shoot out these thorns. But once 4 thorns are on the ground, Sponge is going to let go of the ceiling. And right there, Laseki made Sponge mad, didn't get a good pattern. So he's just going to take the 9-second loss, and now Sponge decides to do the pattern we wanted to see beforehand. Looks like Jafem's getting the same pattern that Laseki started with. And Sponge will only shoot, a double up, but I don't think he's good. Yeah, Sponge has too much health right now, so we were looking for one more up from Jafem. But is he going to? He needs to trigger Angry Sponge if he doesn't get it soon. If he waits, he's losing time. Okay, Sponge finally went up, but Jafem had to wait. Okay, Jafem gets through Sponge. I think between Laseki getting Angry Sponge and jafem having to wait a couple extra patterns, I think they broke even on that split. Laseki gets up to the arm capsule. Took a couple tries, but he's up there. So, you really don't need any upgrades to complete X2 or X3, but getting the Buster here at X2 does help with Strike Chain and Speed Burner tech, and it also makes some of the boss fights a lot faster. Laseki damage boosting his way in the mech. Oh, he is gonna opt to take the heart tank here. If he was gonna get a heart tank, he should have just picked up the one in Sponge. I'm not sure why he decided to go for that one in particular. So Laseki has passed the difficult climbing section of Gator. Jafem's coming up on the checkpoint, the halfway mark. So Laseki's starting the Gator fight with the charge chain ready to go. And Jafem's getting trolled by these disc boys. Every time that you spawn them, they're going to do an attack, and he decided to do the disc throw, which will knock him back down, and then he has to reclimb, and then he got trolled again. So Laseki opting with the Buster Shots, now that Gator is above the water. If you can't do the one cycle on Gator, or at least very, very consistently, sometimes it is better to just let him stay up above the water, and then you just fight him with Buster. The two double Neon Charge Shots do accumulate around 5 damage, which is about the same as a Charged Strike Chain. And you don't have to deal with the submerge after the fact. Oh, Jafem tried to go for more chain hits, but Gator's hitbox is pretty deceptive in places. Oh, I got there. I think Jafem tried to move forward a little bit, and then that deceptive hitbox came in. And finally, Jafem takes down Gator. And Laseki going bird third here. Electing to do ostrich third. Laseki using the strike chain, taking out those enemies. Let's see if Laseki can get the mech into the base, get it to the door. You just have to slow the bike down, there you go, and then ram it into the door. Jafem also going bird third. So we're going to see some Buster dueling here. They're going to hit that. They're going to hit Ostrich with the dash shots as much as possible, but they're looking for Ostrich to jump as much as possible as well, because at the top of his jump, Ostrich will cancel his invincibility frames, and that allows him to get hits a little faster. But you need to be on the high ground to try to have that happen. As you see, when Ostrich jumps, he jumps really high. So you can easily find yourself unable to hit him if you don't have Ostrich below you. So Jafem's starting his ostrich fight. We'll see how better his fight goes. So when Ostrich does his little squawk there, he's actually invincible. So any shots you fire will just bounce off. Looks like Jafem had about a similar fight. Laseki successfully takes down the Sea Cantler with one charged Sonic Slicer. The way killing that Sea Cantler works, it has multiple parts that you have to destroy to completely disable it. It has the searchlight, it has a couple of fins, it also has the face, and then the tail fin. And hitting the Sonic Slice, using the charged Sonic Slicer, gives you 5 different blades, and they hit different parts of the Sea Cantler simultaneously. Jafem didn't get under the sub before it spawned, but that's not a big deal. He does get the one charged slicer on the sub. Name of the game with Crab, you just keep placing the wheel over him and bait Crab to use his little jump there, and he'll keep taking additional hits. So Laseki going into, looks like Stag. Now that he's got his weakness. Jafem starting his Bubble Crab fight. So the Stag stage is basically nothing but climbing for the most part. And this first climb, you have to beat the rising lava, and Laseki does opt to get the heart tank. Jafem finishes Crab. Laseki makes it up just fine. So when you have the bubbles, Stag is super easy. Every time he gets hit with the bubble, he's just gonna fire. He's just gonna throw the fireballs, and he does reset his iframes pretty early in that attack. One thing you have to watch for, you do need to jump over that first fireball. You can actually trade damage with Stag, and if you don't jump and you keep getting hit, you'll actually die sooner than he does, because you actually have less health. But Laseki just handling that, no problem. There's actually a faster fight you can do in conjunction with the double charge neon, but it's pretty technical. But that's usually the method everybody prefers to take down Stag when you have the bubbles to use. Laseki using the double charge there to mow through the robots outside. Using the slope jumps, just like in X1 in Chill Penguin, to get up that vertical section. Now he's going to fire a wheel here, and it's actually going to hit the core of the robot, and then the Pararoid's going to jump out, and then you can use a variety of weapons. You can use Sonic Slicer, Bubble Splash, even Speed Burner. But you do want to conserve your Speed Burner. For the Moth fight, you don't want to use it too much. Every use of charged Speed Burner consumes 3 ammunition. So that doesn't leave you too much to just use at will. Ooh, the damage boost there the damage that Laseki took actually knocked him out of position to put that wheel. And now he's got to make his way. There he goes. He gets the wheel placement. Barely gets the Pararoid before it submerges back in the ground. So for the Moth Cocoon, you need to hit the cocoon with 3 charge burners and then an uncharged burner to advance to phase 2. And then you can use 2 charge burners, 4 uncharged burners, or any combination of those to take down the adult. The adult form always has 12 HP when that phase begins. And Laseki gets through probably the most scariest boss in X2 in this tournament. Probably Moth. Jafem got a good RNG there on that second robot. Gets the insta drop. So Laseki is going to burn her through this barrier attacker. And just damn it, he's just going to run right through the second one. You can actually snipe it before it brings up its shield, but you have to fire the buster at just the right spot while dashing. And Laseki's going to take his time getting through this section. Definitely don't want to get clipped by any blocks. Jafem barely makes it out of Moth. Moth deals the most damage out of any Maverick. And there Laseki using the charge slicer again. Fortunately, the chop register has multiple weaknesses. So Laseki's starting to pull away a little bit, but he still has to deal with the randomness of Centipede. And he's got plenty of burner left for this final hallway. Okay, let's see how Centipede cooperates here. For Laseki. We're looking for the tailspin attack. Well, there's the magnet attractor. That's not terrible. Okay, that was shurikens. So, if you hit Centipede while he's throwing the shurikens, or if he's not doing an attack, oh, okay, tailspin on the ceiling. He'll teleport up to 4 times, and he can teleport in any corner of the room. There's the tailspin again. So Laseki gets a pretty decent Centipede out of that. Oh man, Jafem's got to hurry! Oh man, he got caught by the radar. That's going to make Raider Killer a little bit stronger. He's going to get an additional attack, and he has to sit through this radar scan. So you're gonna see a color change from Raider Killer, and Laseki's a little faster. Okay, Jafem makes it through. Does get a health refill. And Laseki is starting the final Maverick stage. So Laseki has to do the mini boss skip here. Oh, he was early. He did the burner early. So when the burner expired, the camera caught up to him, and you couldn't lock the camera. It looks like Jafem's going to go straight for the Silk Shot strat. I'm just going to hit him with Silk Shot every hit, and has to deal with the teleports. The only unfortunate thing about the Silk Shot does not fire straight. You have to know how the shot spreads and all the different angles. Because he's going through a Silk Shot, he's almost out, and he needs to kind of hold on to that shot until he knows that Centipede's not going to teleport away on him. There we go. Jafem takes down Centipede, and he's a whole stage behind now. Laseki manages to eject Snail from a shell, and he manages to do so again. Now he's trying to kick the shell to keep Snail from trying to get back in. Because if Snail gets in a shell and manages to do that, he's going to do his desperation attack when he comes out. But fortunately for Laseki, one hit from a magnet mine would have killed him. And with that, Laseki moves on to his strongest game, it's X3, I would say. So Laseki just has to wait for the 30 seconds to go by, and then he can start. Jafem successfully gets the mini-boss skip. That's going to catch him up a little bit. Jafem looks like he's going to go in with magnets. Looks like that's going to be the case. Intro in X3, just take down the robots until you get to the cutscene. And then Zero's going to come in. Jafem doing pretty good with the snail shell juggle. And Jafem finishes X2. So to free X from his little prison here, he's got to kill Mac. Just takes one saber and one charge shot to do the job. And then once Mac finishes exploding, a charge shot will free X, and then X can fight the intro boss. Okay, Laseki manages to hold on to his charge shot. There is one frame when X starts walking. If you're not holding the charge still, you actually lose it. So you start with a full charge shot for 4 damage, and then keep unloading green charges for 3 damage until you get down to 4 HP for Mo. And then usually you finish off with a full charge, but if you get hit anywhere during the fight, then you may want to let the full charge go on him earlier. Laseki starting Buffalo. The beauty of X3, you can skip the stage intros by just pressing Y or start, so you don't have to sit through them like you do in X1 or X2. Jafem frees X. He'll be doing his intro boss. Laseki tried to go for a gap jump, didn't get it. And Laseki looks like he will be getting the dash boots. Jafem getting fisted a couple of times by the intro boss. So the up dash is helpful in a couple of places. A little bit later, most notably in Gravity Beetle and Blast Hornet. So Laseki doing the basic strat of jumping when Buffalo turns around, and then he goes right back into the wall. While you do that, you can also charge up full buster shots and just rinse and repeat. Boss AI is pretty straightforward. If you hit them with their weakness weapon, they usually automatically do a specific action. And also, they have longer invincibility frames when you hit them with their true weakness. You may see that a couple of times, but it's mostly Buster and their weakness weapon only when necessary. Jafem also opts to get the air dash boots. Laseki giving the thumbs up pose there. You can actually enter these doors, some of the doors, while like sliding down them. Pretty weird. I think they only put the trigger for the door on the bottom half of it and not the top half. Pretty unusual. Laseki opting to mash out with Buster on the mini boss. Jafem making easy work of Buffalo. Laseki getting the nice kill there on the head gunner just before the Seahorse door. The way this quick kill is works is that you want to hit Seahorse in the air with the Frost Shield, and then just before he jumps out of his stun, there's a period that he has no iframes, and you can just mash ice into him for 3 damage each, and it won't trigger the invincibility. So now that 2 Mavericks have been defeated for Laseki, in this cutscene, Bit and Bite will appear somewhere within the next 6 stages, but they only appear once. Bit will appear first in one of the next 3 stages that Laseki clears, and Bite will show up in one of the last 3. And it's 50-50 whether they show up or not in any given door, unless it's the last possible stage they can show up in, and then it's guaranteed. Everyone's favorite song coming up. Tunnel Rhino. This stage is pretty difficult with all the different conveyor belts going in different directions. Also, you got a lot of pitfalls. You got spike pits that you got to watch out for. You've got those drill wings that are in the way that you have to shoot. And furthermore, a lot of the enemies in this stage deal a lot of damage. And luckily, Laseki's been dodging most of that so far. Tunnel Rhino. Tunnel Rhino. I can't help it. Had to do it. Now for the Hell Crusher mini-boss, just get on the bottom half of the tank and mash. And hope that you don't take too much damage. Because you're going to need it in this last section. There's no checkpoint between the halfway mark and the boss corridor, so if you die, it's pretty bad, because it actually does 2 things. One, you have to replay the whole section again. And second, Rhino's AI actually becomes more aggressive if you die anywhere in the second half of the stage. And note I said second half. You can die in the first half and it doesn't change Rhino's AI, but if you die in the second half, it makes the Rhino fight a lot more crazier, because he has some extra attacks that can fake you out if you don't know how he uses them. But luckily, this fight's pretty easy. You just hit him with the Buster Shot for 2 damage, and then 10 hits with the Acid will kill the Rhino. But you do have to watch for him charging across the room, because he can fake you out like what he's doing there for Laseki. And then once Rhino gets down to about 12 HP, he's going to do his Desperation Charge. And then at that point, you really need to not touch him, because the damage is double when you get hit by his Rainbow Charge. Now Laseki going for Neon Tiger next, following the traditional any % route. You can fit Tiger, like you can do Tiger 3rd, but most people usually elect to do Tiger 4th. It just saves on stage selects. But then again, if you do Tiger third, you only have to do one. Kind of works out in the end. Laseki gets the one cycle Worm Seeker. Having the air dash boots does make that a little easier than not having them. Jafem needs a health drop. He took a lot of damage, I think, in that Hell Pressure fight. If he doesn't get one. Oh, and he gets one. I think everyone's gotten lucky with a health drop from that boss when I've commentated. Furthermore, you can also use the ice to guarantee health drops from enemies that are on the ground or the ceiling. It's one of the neat things about X3, to kind of curb its difficulty with all the damage. Laseki, or not Laseki, but Jafem kind of playing it smart there, hanging on the ladder and using the hitbox of the charge shots to hit that wall tank without having to get in its way. Because when those purple wall tanks are destroyed, they leave behind the drills, and those will shoot out in front of whatever direction they're facing. Laseki gets bit in Tiger, so now he doesn't have to worry about that possible fight in the next stage. Jafem staying to the wall. Oh, but that's unfortunate. Yeah, when the desperation phase hits, if Rhino hits the wall, he's gonna knock X down. Okay, he got away. I was a little scared for Jafem. I thought he was gonna be in trouble, but... And now for Laseki's side, fighting Tiger. Whenever Tiger is firing the Race Flasher, he can't block any charge shots. So you see Laseki's just alternating between lemons, and then he's charging up while the Race Flash is going on. And when Tiger reaches low HP, he can do the Rainbow Charges. This is what you're seeing now. Ooh, Cat Scratch Fever! Watch out, Laseki. That's 8 damage you want back. Okay. Also, when Tiger does a move, whether it be Race Splasher or jumping to the wall, he actually has an iframe reset. Jafem doing Catfish now. I think he's following the low percent route. And I think Laseki's going into Catfish now. So Jafem gets bit here in Catfish. So Jafem's probably going to use the same approach, but we've seen him, I think, before. He killed Bit and Bite with their weakness weapons, and that actually cost him the win versus Thunderface. So hopefully he's caught on to that. If he just goes for the safe, I'm going to use the weakness all the time, that may end up coming back to bite him. Oh, Bit decided not to jump. And he's just gonna opt to kill. So Laseki going into the Catfish fight. Jafem will follow soon thereafter. The main aim of this fight is to hit Catfish as much as possible with the Buster before having to resort to the drills once Catfish reaches the middle of the room. And unfortunately, Jafem dies on the halfway between the Bit and Bite room and the boss corridor. So you see, Laseki now has to resort to the drills. So Laseki has 3 more stages, and he will be finished. Jeff, I'm just sticking with drills. It's very long time at this rate. Because every time you hit Catfish with a drill, he has like 3 seconds of worth of iframes. So, Bite does not appear in this stage for Laseki. Ooh, he gets to jump over the chicken. That's pretty neat. That's a very tight jump, actually. So we're coming up on the Crushed Crawfish quick kill. You'll see Laseki hit Catfish, or not Catfish, but Crawfish with the Tri-Thunder. And then you have a 2-second period of time to where he can actually swap to Buster. And he can start mashing lemons into Crawfish during that period. So it's just like Seahorse, but it's a little easier to get hits in. So, Laseki sticking to the wall, making Crawfish want to fire his claw to the diagonal into the corner, and that leaves his front open so that Laseki can actually mash lemons. If you just stood in front of Crawfish, you can actually fire his little claw forward, and then you can't really mash. So the spinning blades here that we just got from Crawfish are really powerful. One of the best weapons in this game. But you have to be careful because the way that they move once you fire them, they go out for a little bit, but then they curve and go backwards as they move up and down. So they're really good only at short range if you want to get maximum use out of them. So one of the areas that I mentioned earlier about the up dash boots being really helpful was coming up right here for Laseki. Without the up dash boots, you have to do some bootless jumps or iceless jumps from X1. But when you have the up dash, it makes that vertical section pretty trivial. So similar to Rhino earlier, Laseki's going to shoot Beetle with the Buster's Charge, and then he's going to swap to his weakness, which is the Ray Splasher, and just hit him 10 times. And every time that Beetle gets hit with the Ray Splasher, he's going to jump forward, and then his iframes will run out, and then he gets hit again. And it's basically a rinse and repeat. But you can also make fun of Beetle for being a stupid boss by just mocking him every time he jumps. Jafem didn't get on the Frost Shield, but it pauses to make sure that he does. Oh, he barely got the frost shield in before the Worm Seeker got in the ground. And Laseki's on his final stage. So right here at the beginning is another section where the dash can come in handy. Right here. Oh, he bonked on the overhang. And he did it again, but manages to adjust and get out of there. So for the shuriken here, 6 shots with the full acid will kill. And you can also hold up and down on the D-pad when you fire, and it actually controls what direction you fire the acid in. It's a pretty neat mechanic for for some of the weapons. And I think Laseki has to fight Bite here. Yes, he does. So Laseki's going to fire the Buster once, and then keep using drills. Oh, and Jafem dies on the Tiger fight. That's unfortunate. And then right before Bite dies to another drill, he's going to pause and probably go to the Buster. So that cancels the drills. But it also prevents him from accidentally killing him. So he can end the fight with a Buster shot. Oh, Jafem lost a charge shot there. If you get hit by a projectile while you're holding a charge and you let go of the charge while you're in the knockback, you actually lose it. So Laseki going in with the spinning blade, it's not Hornet's true weakness, but it's actually faster because you don't have the extended iframes and the blades only deal 2 less damage. So it's a good trade-off. And Laseki finishes with a 109.05 in race spot. So Laseki gets his second win. He also has a race with N2, which he also has 2 wins. So I believe Laseki and N2 have a race forthcoming, and it'll be for the number 1. It'll be for the top seed out of that pool. I think that's correct. So uh-oh, Jafem getting knocked around like a red-headed stepchild. You don't want Bite to get a hold of you, because he already took 6 damage, and that's pretty powerful stuff. This guy could just knock you around. Jafem making his way through the outside section of Beetle. I'm not really sure if he's on a PB pace. I'm not sure what his actual PB is. Come on, get to the... Okay. Okay, you got the health. I was getting ready to say, please get that health. You don't want to die that close to the beetle door and have to start half the stage again. Because the midway checkpoint in Beetle is really early. And if you die that close to the door, that's really bad. Ooh, no, there's something you don't see every day. If Beetle goes invincible, the Ray Splasher actually stops the invincibility, and then the next shot in that salvo will hit him for 3 damage. But Jafem turned around just as the invincibility was canceled, and the shot didn't hit him. So I think Jafem has one more Maverick. I think. Yep, one more. Jafem makes it through the elevator section. Yeah, it looks like Jafem is on PB pace. Ooh. Oh, Jafem game over, but fortunately it was at the beginning of the stage. Donkey Kong is an irregular. Laseki showing us one of his rare acquisitions, a Donkey Kong Country competition cartridge. So let's see if Jafem can take down the Shuriken this time. So now he's low on health. Let's see if he gets some drops. I'm surprised Jafem's not breaking out the Frost Shield. He can get some health here. Because if you die, you have to go all the way back to the hangar section. Okay, he made it to the boss corridor. So he's probably going to break out the gravity wheel. Yep. This is what he did in his last race. So this makes the fight very, very trivial. You just fire the gravity wheel, and it actually stuns a Hornet. And it'll make these mini Hornets go away too. And with that, jafem finishes with a 1:16.56 in race spot. And with that, Laseki will have one more match against jafem, or not jafem, but against Into, and that will decide who gets the top seed out of this group. And unfortunately, that not only does that eliminate jafem with another loss, it also eliminates Thunderface from pool play 2, or from out of pools. They both can advance, sadly, but we'll see if we can get our racers in here. And I will double check our groups. Yeah, Thunderface has 1 win and 2 losses. jafem has 3 losses. Laseki has 2 wins. Into has 2 wins, and then they both have to play each other. Still, so that race should be very interesting to see who will advance with the top seed.
Hello?
Yes. Oh, what's up, jafem? I think that was a PB for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Good news and bad news. You got a PB, but sadly, you've been eliminated from pool play, but you did pretty good. How you think your play has improved since the last time? I think the last time you played was in the X3 tournament.
Yeah. I think I've improved quite a bit. Especially the last 2 races.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the race you had with Thunderface, it literally came down to what weapon you used on Hornet. That was the difference.
Yeah. I'm not very good at that strat, so I played it safe.
And let's see. You still plan to play 24 Mavs, or is this kind of how far you want to take it?
I think I wanna push it a little bit. Yeah, a couple minutes, maybe sub 1 hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah, 1 hour 10 is easily doable.
Yeah.
But who do you think's gonna win the tournament? Let's just give your take on it while we got you here.
Well, Luis always is a good bet since I mean he's played Mega Man X1 a ton. I believe he had a world record for a while even. so he's always gonna be my bet, kinda.
That's probably fair. Sadly, I think Laseki's opted out on the interview, so we won't be hearing from him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna go over just what matches we still have left to do in pool play. I think there's a match coming up tonight here in about an hour that I will be commentating for. Here in another hour, we got Conster versus Magius on Speed Gaming 2. So here in about an hour, we'll have that match. We have Magius versus Lynx tomorrow, and we got Laseki versus Into on Sunday at 8 o'clock, and that will determine the winner of this group. But they both will advance to the bracket. It just depends on seeding. So that's going to be a fun one. So if there's nothing else, do you have any final words, Jafem?
I want to congratulate Laseki for the win, even though he's not here right now. And thank you for the commentary.
No problem.
Always nice.
Hope you had fun, and maybe we'll see you again in another tournament.
Yeah, I've had tons of fun this tournament. Learned a lot, especially with the X games I don't play, X2 and X3.
Alright, so if y'all enjoyed the tournament so far, just keep a lookout for more races. Pool play will be finishing up very, very soon, and then we'll be having our brackets where most of our players are already set, if not all of them. So that will be fun to watch here pretty soon. And with that, I'm going to sign off. I'm just incredible once again for commentary, and we'll see you back here for the next race, hopefully in about an hour. So have a good evening, everybody.